Welcome to the build, and on this episode we're going to build one of these fallow deer entry tables. And what's awesome is we're going to bring you guys along on the journey.
Enjoy. Prepare for the build.
The build.
The build.
The build.
For the first step on this project, we'll be building the base. I'm using the table saw slide to make sure we have a perfect edge to attach the front section to the back. Ron will do the same using the miter slide to cut the back section to the exact specifications of our client. Gluing the front to the back is as simple as making a mark on the center of both pieces of wood. Now we're ready to clamp the two pieces together. We want to be careful not to use too much glue, and on this section, a little goes a long ways. There will be supports underneath to add extra strength as well, but we're going to do those down the road. Now that the front section is secure, Ron will add some triangle pieces to break up the visual lines of the base. If you notice the way Ron has positioned the clamps, he has made it easy to attach the triangle pieces to the existing T-shape. He has used the clamps as a stop and will give us the ability to loosen and tighten the clamps as needed. This will give us a nice tight 90-degree angle.
These are our two bases. We'll go in, we'll trace that glass on it, and then we're going to bring these in 1.5 inches.
The next step for this project is to glue up the base to provide two things: a stable platform to attach our antler legs and trim to, and a surface to support a walnut top. We will generously coat our plywood with glue. By moving the plywood around in various directions, Ron is able to evenly spread the glue around the two pieces of plywood. Once the glue is spread around evenly, we will clamp the two pieces of wood together and let them bond overnight. For additional pressure, we will add some screws to help secure the two pieces of wood together to achieve a tighter adherence and decreased drying time.
So the wood we're using for the top is walnut. Now this stuff is incredibly expensive, so we want to conserve as much as we can. Now there's a crack down on that end, so that's the end we probably don't want to use because we don't want that thing splitting up on us. So let's start with this end here, and we need two 50-inch things. Let's see if we can measure these knots out of it. If we can't, we'll just fill them. Okay. Okay, so being that we have the saw set up, we can save ourselves a lot of time by actually taking this track saw and running it across this edge. That's going to keep us from having to go over the joiner with it, or if we do, it's only one pass. Now this is on a normal joiner. If we had a 10-inch joiner or an 8-inch, this would be no problem. I wouldn't even worry about it. I would just go straight to the joiner and run it through. But because it is, you know, we only have a 6-inch, it's just easier to cut it right now, like the way we're doing it. Because if you have a piece of wood that has a big bow in it, now trying to run that over a joiner would take, you know, could take a long time. This just takes seconds to set up, and we're gonna get a good perfect joint just right away. So when we do go to glue it up, it should be a piece of cake. Should be mathematically straight. Let's go ahead and set the other one up, we'll do it. So we used the track saw to cut our edge in here. Ron, get a little close up on this. Now this is how tight that track saw cuts. You can see, I mean, we're gonna run it over the joiner just because we have one, but I mean, really, all things considered, we probably don't have to do anything to this. It should glue right up. Probably wanna let this thing set up overnight, you know. Normally about 30 minutes on wood glue, but you can unclamp it. But I like to leave them
Might as well.
overnight just because we're getting close to that time. So. Okay. Look what I found, man.
Oh, that's classic.
So I was digging through my storage unit. I knew we had one of these. So we used to make tables out of these glass pieces, but I think they're going to work awesome for tracing this table out. Finding that piece of glass was awesome. Digging through that storage unit was like a walk down memory lane, and it solved a real problem that we have. We want to make a piece that we can duplicate these tops, and that's the perfect piece of glass to do so. But what was really interesting about that piece is one of the first half-round pieces we made was back in the early 90s. And here's some pictures of what they used to look like.
When we first started to produce furniture, our tool selection was limited. We relied on basic hand tools such as drills, hand saws, belt sanders, and grinders. But over time, we started to use wood as a focal point on our tops. Now we build a base for our tables. By doing so, we can make a piece that is just as elegant on the floor level as it is on top. It also adds an element of stability on carpet that was lacking in our early days as designers.
Now that I've dug this glass out of storage, and it has a few chips on it, but I think we can make it work. This is our template for the half round table. I'm going to cut this thing on the bandsaw here, but we may run into a little bit of crowding, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut some of this off so we don't have to mess with it while we're running it through. The one thing we don't want to do is get halfway through and realize that this doesn't fit inside the throat here. So I'll go ahead and do that.
Let's go.
All right.
All right. Nicely done.
Dude, that was way easier with two of us.
That was, and it was pretty effective. you know?
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, it needs some work. But yeah, for the amount of time you put in, that was pretty quick.
That was, yeah, I mean, having somebody to hold that, now you can't really see it, or maybe you can. We left, what, maybe a 1/16 of an inch of, try to get that thing right down the middle. But this is going to be so easy, much easier now to put on the sander. We'll get that edge sanded down.
Now, how could this have been done easier?
Well, I don't know, man. We've got some plans that at some point in time we're going to implement here.
Yeah, so if we had a CNC, large CNC router, we cut it out pretty quick. We could nearly finish it in one shot.
So if we were to put this on a CNC machine, now obviously we would have that perfect round cut. But would we want to sand this down first?
I would think so. Yeah, run it through the drum sander first to get it nice and flat. Just one last thing. Obviously, we're gonna have to do some finish sanding, but give us a nice surface to work off both sides because we want to keep it nice and flat.
So would a CNC would actually go a long ways in, because you could put the routered edge in there if you wanted
At
to.
the same time, if you had, especially if you had a automatic tool changing CNC,
Right.
we can come in there, we can rough it, finish it, and then put the routed edge on it in one shot.
Okay. So on this piece, when we joined it up, we had sapwood on each. So you see there's some yellow lines in here. So we joined the yellow lines together. Now, a lot of people kind of consider that a no-no. But on this particular case, I like the idea of having a discoloration going down the center. I think it'll look cool. But it's pretty, I mean, if you feel on this, it's pretty rough. So we're going to have to probably run this through the sander quite a few times.
All right.
So we've also got this piece. Let's talk about this guy, Ron.
So we got our base. Put that together yesterday, glued it up.
Probably going to want to, these are the same thickness. So I'm thinking run these through at the same time.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's it. Let's get on it.
All right. Let's get her done.
it should go quick now. We've got everything sanded down, and
It looks really good.
yep. And like I said, the next step is, I think, Ron, why don't you sand with the Festool Rotex
Okay.
125Q?
Redo that one. Redo that one.
Ron, why don't you sand this thing with the Rotex?
Okay.
Let's take it. Let's do 80 grit with the Rotex, and then let's go switch sanders. Go with that smaller one. Start at 80 and go all the way to 220.
Okay.
On these. While you're doing that, I am going to do something else.
Okay.
I'm going to get the plywood base ready.
All right.
All right. Oh. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging. So we got everything flattened, and we're ready to. Ron's going to sand. While he's doing that, I'm going to trace out this piece, cut it on the bandsaw, and then after that, start sanding some more.
Yes.
Okay.
More sanding.
We're going to try to get stain on this thing today, so we're going to work a little later than what we normally do. But yeah, I want to try to get stain, and plus we got to router these edges. So, all right, let's do it.
The plywood base is the portion of the table that the antler trim will attach to. While Ron is sanding off the base section, I will cut the plywood for the top support using the bandsaw. Now that the plywood for the top is cut, I will move on to the plywood for the base. Our antler trim is 1.5 inches in length, so I will attach 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood to the base. This will give us a flat surface for the antler trim when that time comes. The last step is to router the edges. We are using a straightforward bit to conserve as much surface area as possible. This table will most likely be used to hold a bronze, so we want our edges to harmonize well with the art that will be displayed on top. Now that the routering is done, Ron will glue up the plywood supports to the top. While he is doing that, I will finish sanding the walnut base. On the next episode of The Build, we're going to kick this project into high gear. The woodwork is done, and we're going to finally start assembling the table. Tune in next week to watch an antler-packed edition of The Build.